Thanks for starting your day with BYU-Idaho Radio. These are your morning headlines for the 8th of August, 2024. I'm Kalen Wills. Yellowstone National Park is on pace to have one of its busiest years on record. The park just released visitation numbers for July, and it was the second most visits in the park's history, with 992,000 visits. That's up 2% from last year, but not quite as many people as July 2021, which was the most visited year the park has ever had. So far this year, the park has hosted 2,626,000 recreation visits, which is 7% more than last year, but down by about 2% from 2021. If you plan to go to the park, make sure to be patient and to plan ahead. For more information, go to nps.gov/yell. The students on the campus of BYU-Idaho are a little younger this week. They're here for FSY. Student reporter Vanessa Willardson has the story.
Every summer, youth from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints gather at college campuses across the nation for a week-long conference called FSY. This week, they're at BYU-Idaho. The acronym FSY stands for the Strength of Youth. Youth gather from all over Idaho and outside of the state to participate in the conference. It includes church lessons, devotionals, and activities such as the variety show, dances, games, and more. One Caleb Nebeker is attending FSY for his third year. He says the part of the week that stands out to him is watching people grow.
Seeing the ability for people to change from being super closed and confined to being super open by the end of the week. My favorite parts of FSYs has always been the testimony meetings we have, because you just get to see all the growth from people.
FSY counselors lead the youth like Caleb through activities and lessons where the youth have growth opportunities. Counselors are young, single adult members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Many have served 2-year missions or 18-month church missions, but it is not a requirement to be hired. FSY counselor and return missionary Michelle Artrup is in her second summer of counseling. She says FSY has helped her to see Jesus Christ more in her life, and she hopes to create that experience for the youth she's leading.
These kids are trying to learn about Jesus Christ, and we want them to know about him, but we want them to know that they can know him in a fun way. It doesn't have to be just in a seminary and Sunday school type of way, but he's everywhere with us, and I think that's the most important thing.
FSY counselor Jackson Larson says FSY has helped him to grow closer to Jesus Christ as well. This is Larson's first summer, but he's in his 7th week. He offers advice to people who are interested in counseling for next year.
Be happy to be there, love the youth, have patience. Just being able to learn to love people, learn how to best care for their needs and make them feel loved has been really important for me.
For people who would like to work as a counselor next year, you can find more details at fsyemployment.byu.edu. For BYU-Idaho Radio, I'm Vanessa Willardson.
Cows usually aren't the catalysts of relationships, but in the new book, What Happens in Idaho, they are. Written by Bonnie Jo Pearson, What Happens in Idaho is the story of two broken-hearted people who fall in love. One is a doctor who wrecks her car while trying to avoid a cow, and the other is a mechanic who charms her while she waits for her car to be fixed. They discover that their love heals their heartbreak, and they go through a journey of love, loss, and laughter. Pearson wants the book to inspire her readers.
The main moral is that it's important to open up to others around you, to have connection, to not only have a romantic love in your life, but also how important it is to have familial love and not cut yourself off from that as best as possible. And that no matter what's happened in your life, no matter how hard it's been, that you can find that redemption, find that joy, because even when hard things happen in our life, we are meant to have joy, and we're not meant to be sad forever and have that sorrow carried with us forever.
Pearson is an Idaho native who got into writing because of her love for reading. She started writing What Happens in Idaho 17 years ago and has grown to love the story as she fine-tuned it. It is her first published book, and she has another one coming in January of 2025. She prefers to write romance books because she simply loves love.
I really feel like love is probably the most important emotion we feel on this earth. I feel like if there's more love in the world, then all of our world problems would be solved. If we just loved each other like we love ourselves, or more than we love ourselves. And so I feel like the healing power that we have is love. And so when I was choosing what to write about, I chose love because I think that's the most important message to send in the world is just to love.
What Happens in Idaho can be found at most book retailers or at simonandschuster.com. A big thank you for listening to BYU-Idaho Radio. These have been your morning headlines for August 8th, 2024. You can catch more news, interviews, and great content on this podcast feed. Just ask Alexa, Google, or Siri to play the latest BYU-Idaho Radio podcast. Or listen to us for free on your favorite podcast app. I'm Kalen Wills, and this is BYU-Idaho Radio. Have a great day.